Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our prior presidents once said, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." And this reminds me of a couple of questions that some of our community members asked during our last live stream and a few live streams prior. And that question was, AP, what would happen to the money in our banks if something happened where the system were to go down? Could it be confiscated? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's your answer. Yes, this may not be happening in the United States, but Australia, in my opinion, used to be just as free as the United States once was. And look at what is happening now. I remember someone else asking me a question a few live streams ago. And this person asked, can the government confiscate our gold or our food? And my answer was, the government can do whatever it wants as long as we allow it to. Of all the extreme measures carried out by various states in Australia, the collections and confiscations by the State Penalty and Enforcement Register might just be the icing on the cake. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so very sad to see what is happening to Australia. What worries me the most is that the law enforcement is doing this to their own people. I was once asked, do you think that the military and law enforcement in the U.S. would ever turn against their own people? And my answer was always, man, I really don't think that would happen. I think that most Leos, I think that they're really good and they're real Americans and that they would never turn on their people. But man, I've seen some videos, ladies and gentlemen, that really has me questioning that. I remember seeing a video, and I think it was from Australia, of a gentleman talking to a police officer asking him, why are you doing this to your own people? Why are you beating us? Why are you macing us or spraying us with pepper spray? Why are you following on the orders of the tyrants that are above you? And the answer that the police officer gave the young man was really chilling. Very simple answer, but very chilling. At least he was honest. His answer was, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm doing my job because I need to feed my family. So in other words, he was just doing what he was told to do, even though he knew it was wrong, because he has to feed his family. Not thinking that everyone else that he was imposing on had to feed their families as well. I saw another video about a year ago of a police officer here in the United States. I believe it was in California. And she was shutting down this gentleman's business because he was refusing to go along with the shutdowns. And he was asking her, he was saying, what makes you more important to keep your job than me? He says, you're wearing a mask, I'm wearing a mask. Why do you get to keep earning a paycheck and I don't? And he said, why are you doing this? And she said the same thing that that police officer from Australia said. She says, I have a family I need to take care of. So even though that she knew in her heart that what she was doing was wrong, she was still willing to do it because she had a family to take care of or a child to feed. And this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when we depend on government. Just as some people depend on government for their food, some people depend on government for their livelihood. And it was never meant to be like that. It was meant to be that the government works for the people and not the other way around. It says here that during the lengthy lockdowns in the state of Queensland, Australia, most workers were not permitted to work or earn a living. And listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. This is how they get you. They never let a crisis go to waste. Whether man-made or not, whether fabricated or not, whether natural, it doesn't matter. If it's a crisis, it's a crisis. And a state will never let a crisis go to waste if they know that they can get more power from it. Several states stepped in to provide wage subsidies so people could purchase essential products and pay their living expenses. So here we go. The state doing something to help the people. But what the people don't understand is that it comes at a cost. And that cost is their freedom. However, during the lockdown, if you were caught violating any of the lockdown rules, you were subject to a civil citation, a fine, or a ticket for your violation. Sounds like a free people, huh? Get caught too far from, listen to this, get caught too far from home, outside your permitted bubble, and you get a ticket. Oh my goodness, get caught spending more than the permitted 1 hour outside, you get a ticket. Get caught without a mask, even by yourself, and yes, you get a ticket. Enter a closed quarantine zone, i.e. a park venue, etc., and you get a ticket. Tickets were being handed out by police on the street, as well as during random checkpoints on the roadways. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here in the United States of America and in other countries other than Australia, which is the country I'm reading about right now, listen, there will be another major crisis, either an extension of this one or a brand new one. And the only way that you can resist, the only way that you can properly resist, is if you are prepared with all those things that you need. That way you don't have to fall into the trap of relying on government in order for you to eat bread. Think about it. It only makes sense. Additionally, people turning to Queensland were put into system of involuntary quarantine. The cost for that quarantine, mostly hotel rooms, were to be paid by the people being involuntarily put there. Citizens were required to have their physical location scanned via a QR code on their phone. I'll tell you what, China must be very proud. I know that China and Australia are having some problems right now, but China must be very proud of the work that they're doing in Australia. And listen, my Aussie friends, my brothers and sisters from Australia, I love you all. A lot of you are community members in the AP community. Several of you are YouTubers, all right, that I know, that I've chatted with back and forth. This has nothing to do with the people. It has everything to do with the government and the power that the government has bestowed on itself, instead of giving that power to whom it rightfully belongs to, the people. And listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen at this level of control. If you checked in at the grocery store, they knew how far from your home you are. And the police could figure out if you violated your 1 hour of time outside of the home at the next checkpoint. Incredible. The result of all of this compliance monitoring was thousands of fines, civil citations for violating their rules. Rules that nobody voted for. Thousands of people given thousands of fines that would need to be paid. Now the state is requiring all of those civil citations to get paid or else. And the enforcement actions to collect these fines from the state penalty and enforcement register are quite extreme. Citizens who have outstanding tickets are finding their driver's licenses suspended. Bank accounts are being frozen and seized. So there's your answer. What can happen to the money in my bank? Ladies and gentlemen, get out of the system as much as you can. I'm telling you, this is horrifying. This is not even happening here in the United States, and it is still horrifying. Homes and properties are being confiscated, as well as business licenses suspended for outstanding citations. Queenslanders who receive fines for breaking their rules risk having their homes seized and bank accounts frozen in a government crackdown to collect $5 million. Listen, we've talked about this before. It's the Tytler cycle. Along with the fourth turning, we are going into a dark winter that is going to last years. We are already in the dark winter, but it's not just one winter per se. It is a time within a generational cycle that lasts years. And or you can take a look at the Tytler cycle, Tytler. Look it up. Do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. The Tytler cycle says that we are entering into a period of oppression within humanity. And that from that oppression, when the people realize that praying is not enough to get their rulers to set them free, they will then turn to things that they have to do in order to become free. Just like what happened back in the year 1776 here in the United States of America. That is the cycle that we're turning into, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking about this for quite a while now. Things will be getting worse. They will be getting worse. So you have to prepare now. You have to prepare now, get everything you're going to need. That way you don't have to bend to the will of those people that have the things that you need in order to just simply survive and or maintain the standard of living that you currently hold. Having said that, I hope you have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I do have a video coming up later on today, which is pretty awesome. All right. Just look for it. It's going to be coming out later on today after this one, probably sometime in this afternoon. It's pretty great. It has to do with ribeye. All right. It has to do with my favorite meat of all times, ribeye. All right. So hopefully you'll check it out. That'll be later on today. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out. Happy Monday. God bless.